Africa's major cities are growing at an unprecedented rate. By the end of the century, it's estimated 13 out of the world's 20 largest metropolises will be in Africa. But one of the major challenges is how they can cater for people from all economic brackets. As an ongoing eviction scandal in Ivory Coast economic hub Abidjan shows, development often comes at the expense of the poorest. DW's Sira Thierij reports from Yopougon, one of the worst affected neighborhoods.
This is where thousands of people used to live, go to school and run their businesses. But now there's only rubble. Over the last weeks and months, the government of Ivory Coast's economic capital has cleared the neighborhoods of over 50,000 people, most of them overnight.
This looks like the aftermath of an earthquake or a hurricane. Children and families sorting through the rubble, school benches turned upside down and personal belongings flying around everywhere. But it's not. This is the result of the government's initiative to develop and clean up Abidjan and essentially remove entire neighborhoods that no longer fit the image the country's economic hub wants to portray.
Alima Diakite used to live in a small house nearby with her 3 children. Now they're out on the streets. It's the second time she and her family have been forced to leave their home.
Before we came here, we were poor, but at least we had some dignity. Now we've got absolutely nothing. We can't live like this. We're suffering. And the worst of all is that my children no longer go to school. My oldest, she used to go to school here.
The demolitions have left thousands of children without a classroom. One school alone taught nearly 2,000 kids.
This was my school, where I studied with my friends.
DW spoke to nearly 24 people in several neighborhoods. No one received any financial compensation, nor were they given alternative shelter. The governor of Abidjan did not reply to DW's requests for comment. In previous statements, he said the cleared zones posed a safety risk for floods and landslides. But people here don't believe that's the true reason behind the displacements. Sila Seke Colombe runs a local NGO that is fighting the evictions. He says the government's campaign is less about security and more about money.
While the government says these zones are a safety risk, they already have companies lined up who want to invest. We're talking about a humanitarian catastrophe here. Children are out of school, there's prostitution and banditry. So you see, the government did a bad job.
Over the last 20 years, Abidjan has more than doubled in size, from 3 to over 6 million people. And like many African cities, it continues to grow. But instead of social housing projects, these neighborhoods will be replaced with hotels, commercial areas and a water park. Amenities Alima and her children will likely never get to enjoy.
We'll just wait to see if God will give us a miracle.
The government of Abidjan plans to clear over 170 neighborhoods altogether. For the city's poorest, there may soon be nowhere left to go.